John Less here of Less Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm testing another vintage broadhead. Man, I love testing these vintage broadheads. And this again is able to happen because of Lucas Harrison. Lucas, thank you so much. He donated this pack of Hoyt Maxi Chuck It's. I don't even know how he got a hold of these things. They're pretty hard to find, but they've been around for a long time. And man, they just look weird as can be. They've got a wicked big cut, and I'm really eager to put them to the test. And so I'm going to be using my regimen for 2024. And for an understanding of that, please check out the video that I posted earlier this year called 2024 Broadhead Test Process. And it'll really walk you through it and help you understand how I do the scoring and why I test this way and that way and so forth. And for all the shooting, I'm going to be using my new Elite Era compound bow, and then for the flight testing I'm using this Killer Instinct SWAT X1 crossbow. I'm using Bishop FOC King arrows for most of the shooting, Fat Eliminators for the really hard impact stuff, and their Goat crossbow bolt. All right, let's zoom on in here and go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put this Hoyt Maxi Chuck It to the test. Here's a good look at this broadhead. Man, this is a cool looking design right here, isn't it? Especially to think that this was from so long ago. Okay, it was pretty cool and innovative back then. So let's start with the materials. You've got stainless steel blades. By my measurements, they're 0.040 inches thick. Then you get an aluminum ferrule. I have no idea what kind of aluminum it is. As for the dimensions, in this dimension, the biggest dimension here, the cutting diameter is 1.5 inches. And then this way, it's 1.2 inches for a total cut of 2.7 inches. Okay, that's a nice wide cut. And as you can see, it's a cut on contact tip. Okay, there's no chisel tip or anything. There's just that main blade, the main two blades coming to a tip. I'm not sure how durable that tip is going to be, but it's a decent thickness to the blade, so we'll just have to see. And that blade retention, I have no idea how durable that's going to be, but we're just going to have to see. As for flight, you know, it's got a really short overall length of 1.1 inches extending beyond the end of the arrow, but then as you can see, it has this blade over shaft design, so you want to make sure if you're shooting this that you have some extra length so it's not bumping into your riser right there or hitting into your hand or something like that. But a really nice short profile. And then, you know, it doesn't have a lot of exposed blade because it uses this barbed design. It's not going to be legal in some states because that is considered barbed, because it's not, the blades aren't approaching at a 90-degree angle. It's like less than that. Okay, it's angled in that way, so it's considered barbed. You want to make sure that it's legal if you're still using it. Most people are probably not still using this. I don't know if anybody's still using it. I'm just fired up to test it out. So I have no idea how durable this is going to be. I have no idea how it's going to fly, but I'm really eager to put it to the test and see how it performs. Okay, big disclaimer here. The Maxi Chuck It's wouldn't fit with an 18-inch bolt because they come back so far over the shaft and they have such a wide diameter to the cut. So I had to special order some 22-inch bolts, which I did, but they're a lot lighter than the typical bolt that I have been using. And so I just quickly sighted it in. And it's super windy out, I will say. The Maxi Chuck It was 8 inches off the 10 ring, so that would be a 0 on my normal scale. However, because I'm using a lighter shaft that goes 65 feet per second faster, and because of the wind with that lighter shaft, and because you can't purchase these heads anymore anyway, I'm going to cut it some slack and give it a 5 on a 10-point scale. It took 262 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.38 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated 6 inches. It took an additional 23 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.54 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 62 layers. It did pretty well through the 3 shots in the MDF. It just got a bit of a tip curl, as you can see there. Here it is after just 1 shot through the steel plate. Now, it made a nice hole, but the blades just came completely disassembled from the ferrule. They just fell apart, and that was on the first shot. Here's the Maxi Chuck It after the impact into the concrete. Now, it did well through the MDF. It did pretty well through that. On the first shot into the steel plate, it lost both of the blades, and so really I wouldn't have carried it on to the cinder block round, but I had an extra one, and so I thought, well, shoot, let's see how it does. And so this was with a new head into the cinder block round, and it performed pretty much as expected there. It just didn't hold together. So what'd you think? Hey, I love the cut size, and there's some things about this broadhead that are just really intriguing, but in my mind, this is one of those that is from the past that I just would not really be interested in hunting with today. I'm sure there's been many animals killed with them, but you know, it had its run, and I think there's just a lot better choices on the market today, but it really is cool to be able to test it out, and maybe you feel differently. Hey, check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if it might be a good fit for you. Good luck finding them if it is a good fit for you, but it's interesting and educational just to see how they perform just the same. Oh, and stay tuned for the list of all the discount codes that I can pass on to you just to save you some money in the broadheads you purchase.